Hello lovelies, Rodney Drug Fox here. I'm gonna continue my what if Deku was Omega Sans. Excuse me. Excuse me again. Okay, so where I left off is where Deku was injured by his quote unquote friend, his advisor, who tried to attack his children, his 5 children, which is 4 members of the League of Villains, Kurogiri, the oldest, Dabi, the second oldest, Shigaraki, the third oldest, Toga, the second youngest, and Eri, the youngest one. So Deku did get injured, mainly getting a stab wound at the stomach, one on his chest, and one straight through his thighs. And if the first video did say something, before this, basically my wife Deku was a Phantom Animatronic Part 5, explained a small portion of what I was gonna say. So basically all the drawings like on Deku's arm, like anything else, like Deku has tattoos back then, like anything from this era will go to Deku in the future. So like all the scars, all the drawings that he has on his arms, on his back. And he did wanted to continue fighting, but he was weak, so he was injured, so he got weakened. Sorry if you hear background noises. So Deku eventually did had to fight off a lot, but hide his children with everyone else who was running away from the kingdom. So he did continue fighting as hard as he can, and I'm gonna actually go to the Omega Sans picture, which he does look like. So he looks like this. So hold on, I actually want to find the artist. I can't find the artist. Is it? Okay. So basically Deku does look like this, and he is fighting as hard as he can. He uses the skull on his head as a defense, as a shield kind of, for he could continue fighting but also be defended. Basically I'm gonna use like a kind of Wikipedia-ish for I can figure out what the heart symbols actually mean. Hold on. Alright guys, so here it is. So red is determination, which is the skull. Cyan and orange are part of a set of wings, as well as the other colors. As I know, patience is like a knife in the game of Undertale when you're fighting Omega's Flowey. Bravery is a glove. A blue integrity is a ballet shoe, which I actually don't know what the attacks do, and I'm sorry. Basically, I'm gonna change up a bit of it, so everything else will stay the same except for purple and blue, because I don't know what their attacks do, and I really want someone to actually explain it to me in the comments. So blue is gonna be like a type of attack. Actually no, I saw like a video of Sans fighting with Gaster, and he used like the hands, the small hands, I forgot what to say. And blue cyan basically is a string, while blue is a saw. So I'm gonna use the saws as blue, but purple, I think it's like the same attack, but the colors are inverted. So that's what I'm gonna do. So the colors are inverted for the person dealing with the attacks, but way more powerful. It doubles the attack. So blue and purple are gonna be different, while all the other ones are gonna stay the exact same, because I know the other ones, but I forgot how this attack works, and they don't seem to fit Deku's persona, as I dealt him as a father figure as well as a guardian. And the thing is, in the future, Deku does keep his memory of the past, but his children in that type of era where Deku is has their memories locked away, and Deku has to convince them to come join him back to where they belong. Basically telling them to join him in his side and abandon their side. Basically, he's asking the League of Villains to abandon the villains and come be with him. And Eri to come with him. And they do have like a very strong aura with them each time. Like Dabi, Kurogiri, Shigaraki, Toga, Eri, and Deku have like a very strong aura around them. And people could feel this. Like, Deku is the strongest one because he's like the father figure of these people. But also someone who defends and protects these people in the past. So Deku has like this like strong personality as well as a father figure to people. And another thing that Deku has is his aura is like very strong, so it makes him seem intimidating. Intimidating. So Deku does end up getting injured in one of his eyes by an axe to the face. Yeah, people are dealing weapons. His army is almost gone while Deku is fighting off, and his children do see this happening while they're being sent away with everyone else. And one of Kurogiri sees an axe being tossed as he does warn his father about it until it's too late as Deku turns to his left and gets hit in the face with an axe directly at his eye, causing him to go completely blind, and that will transfer to Deku in the future. So Deku does eventually get injured and then killed by getting his head chopped off, as people declaim winners over the realm. And please remember, Deku is the first quirk user, but people treat pharaohs as children of the gods. So Deku does explain that this is a quirk, which people back then did not know, and he said quirks are basically superpowers given to them by the gods. And as they do written this down, and this is where the first words of quirk comes in, but they don't actually believe that Deku, as this proverbial god, actually said, "Hey, this is a quirk. Listen to me, I'm your pharaoh." So basically, Deku is eventually killed, and technically his genes are passed down to his children, so they also have a superpower, which Deku calls them quirks. So the kingdom does say that people with power in this kingdom, no matter if it's pharaoh or normal civilians, are called quirks. And people do think these are like monstrosities. Other people think like, hey, this is where witches or wizards are around. And before then, like in the first episode of this, I did say before the new world was found, I did mess that up, and I'm sorry about that if I offended people. But let's continue. So basically, Deku does end up being killed during battle, eventually getting too many scars to continue fighting, as he does end up using his wings and skull. Basically, technically, the skull is very terrifying, having sharp teeth as well as flat teeth, for he could eat as well from. The skull mainly attacks by slamming its head onto the ground. Basically, that does hurt people, and it does impale a lot of people. And he uses purple and blue as well as cyan, green to heal himself, which is kindness, yellow to do justice to all the people that he has lost during this war, and orange for, I forgot what orange is, hold on. Orange is bravery, and orange to continue being brave to defend the people he loves. And so Deku does end up getting defeated, but with as much as he could, he does take down a large portion of the army, and eventually they do catch up to the citizens and does end up hurting a lot of them and finding the prince and princesses. Hold on. As well as he uses Sharp Tail to attack. Right now, Deku, I'm gonna continue. So they do, the prince and princesses do attack as much as they can, but end up getting hit with a very hard blow to like their body. The kingdom does said, we're gonna let you become the kings and queens of the era, but you have to validate by our rules. And the daughters said no to this. The prince also said no to this, as they threatened their lives as they did to their father. And they do show their father's decapitated head to them, which is terrifyingly a dick move, as they're mortified as they do follow the rules as they were told. But they said, we'll only do it on one condition: let us do what we want with our people. And since their father has been nice to them, they decided to do the exact same thing that he did for them. They did it for the people. So they worked with the people until they died by another war with the same kingdom. Their father was not mummified, because his wings did made it very impossible to work with, as well as his extra skull. So they did had to like put him into like a weird way, which had his wings like covered half of his body. Hold on. So I'm gonna continue this later. So, well, not later. Basically, Deku's children did die of either old age or another war with the same kingdom for not following their directions. So Deku and his wife from the afterlife are seeing this and did help their children in a way where they don't know that they're there, but help them out anyway. Excuse me. So I'm gonna skip to the future when Deku is reborn again. Well, Deku is reborn, because Deku died as well as his children and his wife. You guys get to decide on who Deku will love in this what if. So basically, I'm gonna have a love interest for Deku, but you guys decide on who should it be. And I think this is where I'm gonna leave off, because I have nothing else. Bye, guys.